What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show, the live show. It's CC show and I've been trying to do like for those of you who just turned in listening. I've been trying to do shows sporadically. I'm kind of working on the show, changing it up a little bit so it can be easier for you guys to get to and access. So but right now I'm just doing commentary. I'm still gonna call it the CC show, but just doing commentary on like a lot of the events and stuff that comes up, so I can keep up with you guys during this time and everything. So I hope you guys have had a wonderful week despite all the craziness going on out here. I hope you have. And oh my goodness, there is so much to talk about. I really don't have a show. I just felt that I should be coming on and talking about a lot of the hot topics that we see. I mean, the things that have happened this week. It has been an interesting shift in America over the last 5 to 6 months. Uh, I think we're in the middle of a huge psyop, but this is that's a whole nother, and I may touch on that a little bit here and there, here in a moment. But what I have come to realize completely is that um, we are definitely in, I guess I feel a psyop, okay? Um, I don't know, should we just start off talking about it? I don't have It's a Word this week, but I feel like a lot of the show, a lot of things we're going to discuss. I mean, you can get a word from it, okay? But you guys, okay, let's start off with the Charlie Kirk incident, okay? I had heard of Charlie Kirk before and some of the things that he had been saying around the internet and stuff like that. And I actually really, I'm gonna tell you the truth, I really didn't pay attention to him because Charlie Kirk to me was one of those people who, in my personal opinion, a lot of Christians will try to merge white Christianity with white supremacy. They do this all the time, okay? And I felt he was one of those people, and I felt that and I know this will probably upset a lot of people, but okay. Uh, I felt like he was one of those persons that he was making money, make a lot of money off of what he did. I mean, it looks like he was off of going around over what he did. So nobody deserves to be shot. Okay, nobody deserves to be shot for their beliefs. Charlie. Here's the sad thing I feel about Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk had the right to live and possibly evolve past the way he was thinking. He had the right to do that, or never evolve. You know what I'm saying? But he did have the right to live. And so, the state that we're shooting people over their thoughts and ideas, even if we disagree with them, is I don't know. Okay. So here is what like I said, going back to him, I've heard some of the things he said. As a matter of fact, Charlie Kirk was a person that said he didn't believe in empathy. He said that he thought it was a made up word. Any Christian saying that, when there are tons of in the Bible empathetic things, what do you like? You can't to be a Christian is to possibly put yourself into someone else's shoes, to love and care for humanity so much that you want them to have the word of God. That has to come from an empathetic place. So when he said that, I was like, you know what I'm saying? But this is to me, this is a problem in the white evangelical church. I grew up in a lot of those churches. I know, okay? They and I'm slightly bent conservative. I have a lot of most Black people are. What's happened to Black Americans is because we've got the extreme on the other end. Like we've got extreme, well, Blacks are extreme on the Republican end. They tend to degrade themselves in order to be conservatives. And they also do so on the left to be liberal. to be a left to the far left. Black people will advocate for things they don't believe in, be the face of things they don't benefit from. Everything on the left, they'll do that. Okay, and uh, uh, and the same thing. Black people on the who are conservative, not all of them, but most black people who are conservative will degrade themselves. Will let people talk down on their group and will say things like affirmative. Let's just get this out the way. White people get some of the most help in the world. I mean, there is nobody in America that has not white America to not to think for you to think you haven't had a bootstrap that you haven't had somebody help you with your bootstrap is crazy. Okay, just being white in America has so much leverage in the world. Charlie Kirk, I saw, has a harmless racist. Well, I say he was harmless because he told the plan. He was a racist. I feel liberals are more dangerous than him. White liberals can be more white liberal racists. Not all white liberals are racist. Not all white conservatives are racist either. But I feel that white liberals are the most dangerous when they're racist because they act like your friend and get you to believe in something and use you as the face of something, and it's before you see the wolf, they're over. Charlie Kirk, you saw coming. You saw what he was talking about. He made no bones about. He thought like he said, when he see a black pilot, he thought it would be DEI. He was saying all kind of crazy things. Black women, could they have been smart enough to get a job? I mean, just the most foolish things, the most craziest things. And I hate when I hear white people talk about, hey, we're not we're losing things before affirmative action. Well, you know what? Guess what? You had a 300 and some year odd time period where you had quiet white supremacy action, and you still do. People will. Who's to say that because you're white, you're getting the job because you're deserving of it? Your white skin may have just got you that job. What? It's the craziest. That's gaslighting. They know this. That's why the people like Charlie Kirk and them. I understand that he was a provocateur. I did that. As a matter of fact, I always tell people Charlie Kirk I could have been cool with because I understood what he was. I'm sorry. And not that I could be cool with what he said. It's just that I could have conversations. People, and he often said things that were just, I mean, DEI, is it on the left and the right? Do y'all keep using DEI for black people? I'm not quite sure what's going on here. Are we all in understanding about who benefited the most from DEI and affirmative action in this country? Are we even having, because even the left does this, even the black left, even some black people on the left were out there boycotting DEI. I was like, boycotting against companies getting rid of DEI, and I'm like, did it benefit you? No. Here's what I hate about the liberal side. We're often the face of different things, but we don't benefit from us. They use us for the face because we have the real justice claim. It is crazy. So I'm trying to look up this article because I want to talk about this. Okay. Um okay. Even they talked about about black. He often go when Charlie Kirk would go to these colleges and debate different people. He would often talk about, the Asian lawsuit against Harvard, where a lot of blacks got into Harvard would get 4% more than that. Now, when we're saying that, I want to see what men like Charlie Kirk did not understand, and what's coming out now is that a lot of times Black Americans weren't benefiting from that Harvard expansion. They were going and getting people from the diaspora to make it look like us. And it looked like we were. So you're arguing it's us, which we should have been represented at Harvard. Some whites get into Harvard not because they're smart, but because of legacy and all kinds of other things. They daddy know somebody, all kind of stuff. That's all kind of bullshit happen to when you white to get into those places, Ivy League schools. Let's not play. Okay. But yes, a lot of them were not Black Americans. That's recently come out. When we talk about DEI in recent years, okay. And I don't like to put brown, because people love to put Black people with brown people. Black and brown people are not the same people. We do not have the same history in this country. I do not have the same history as a Hispanic, a Mexican American. They love, this is something the Democrats do, and this is it's a white, to me it is a white supremacy narrative the Democrats do, because they don't like to own up to. They also, in the end, don't really like to own up what happened to Black people during slavery, segregation, and Jim Crow, and the racism Black Americans continue to experience in this country. In the end, liberals don't even like to deal with it. Okay, so liberals will put us with a group that is nowhere near the same Justice Clay, and make us the face for everybody, right? But there's an interesting articles from CNN, the big articles that say who really benefits from DEI program scrutiny among leadership disparities. DEI only benefited Black Americans literally 4%. The big winners of who benefited from DEI and affirmative action were white women. So Charlie Kirk didn't spend his time talking about white women not being smart enough to be in their positions, not being smart enough. He made us literally the face of DEI, like the liberals do, makes us the face of DEI, which we don't benefit. What the liberals do is put us as the face. And then they let all these other groups they have that they respect more benefit from it. Meanwhile, they use Black radio, Black celebrity, and everything, because these people have incentive. A lot of them get paid, or they get Hollywood is ran by liberals. So it's record companies ran by liberals. So you don't have too many dissent from celebrity world, and you don't have too much dissent from. So liberals do different. You experience white supremacy from liberals very different. But men like Charlie Kirk were totally wrong in DEI. That's how I know that was what he was talking was white supremacy. I'm like, we're not the ones benefiting from DEI. It was white women. Why didn't you spend your time talking about, do white women qualify for these jobs they've been getting in corporate headquarters? As a matter of fact, I would argue that the reason DEI programs are being gutted, and the reason why affirmative action programs are being gutted, is because of white women and the low birth rate in America, and white people, the population slowing down. Oh, we might literally have Handmaid's Tale in a minute. Because white women have taken these things that should have been for Black people who were enslaved in America. They've made themselves a minority group. They've made themselves a group that said they were disadvantaged. And in some ways, women in America were disadvantaged, but also white women participated in the with slavery and the harsh realities of slavery. They worked side by side with white men. And not to say that there were white people who did help with like the Underground Railroad and stuff like that. But I'm talking for the majority. They participated, and then they turn around and benefit off of a program that was supposed to be meant. See, what liberals convinced Black America to do was, okay, so they finally agreed. Civil rights. We need a civil rights. Was Charlie Kirk? He didn't even believe in civil rights. Civil rights movement. That tells you where we are with Charlie Kirk. That's why I listen. I'm not so. I'm sad that anybody gets shot. And I want humans, to be able to have a full life and an evolutionary experience in their life. Perhaps Charlie would have evolved if he would have known more. But I also don't like the things he said. I also think he didn't know enough to be talking some of the stuff he talked. And when we talk about and what I'll say about a lot of those programs, the white liberal acted as a white supremacist. So what they did is say, hey, Black people, I mean, you're not the only one that has problems. The brown people have problems. Let's make this a movement. One that you won't benefit off of. You will still have ghettos. You will still vote for us the next 50 or 60 years. We won't actually do anything. We'll actually convince you to put immigrants in office who look like you, but not yourself. The liberals are the most dangerous. The Charlie Kirks of the world, they're dangerous. And that the fact that they get young people to believe half the shit, the bullshit, but it's not true. And they do it in the guise of Christianity, which is even more scarier. And when you go to these white Christian churches, which I have for years, I've seen they often mix white people, and not for all white people, but some white people, they have a hard time. It's easy to worship Christ, but it's hard to see that we were, our ancestors participated in a harsh thing in America. And it wasn't a great thing about our country. Some of our grandparents sit outside and call little kids niggas and tar babies and spit on them and everything as they were going to school. That is it's an ugly, it's an ugly thing to fit, to embrace, to say, damn, this wasn't good. They have a problem with it. Most, not all. And so what happens in a lot of these Christian churches, they'll be like, oh, we're all one under Jesus. We're Jesus wants us to, pull ourselves up by their bootstrap. They don't believe in that at all. They will go to other countries and they will go into other countries where they think they can maintain some sort of control. I've seen this in white Christian churches. They won't even minister to the ghettos because they have no empathy. Because they have no empathy for their neighbors. But they will have empathy for a place, like they'll go to Africa and they will call themselves doing missionary work, but really it's control work, trying to control the narrative. We can't control the Negroes in America anymore. The liberals have them. So now what we'll do is go to Africa and try to give them. That's why you often see a lot of people from other from the diaspora who are Christians, because they've been missioned by a lot of white supremacists who calls themselves giving them the word of God, who sometimes meant well, but never checked their white supremacy. Because white supremacy in America, a lot of evangelicals don't talk about it or check it. They just won't. Even with Israel, it is hard. A lot of reason why people are so staunch on it. Even Charlie Kirk was kind of changing his mind about Israel. That's why I say I hate that happened, because who knows what evolution he would have had just period in his whole life. He was only 31. But Israel, a lot of church people, Christian churches believe that, because of the end times, they believe they have to protect Israel. And because the Bible tells you to pray for Israel and Israel, that's the Israel's land and just different things like that. So they tend to take a stance that is very protective of Israel. But the Bible does not say that Israel won't do wrong, that Israel will not be ugly. Something happens to make Israel, everybody turn on Israel. Okay. It is to bring Israel from the Christian standpoint of view, which a lot of evangelicals have a hard time with. From the Christian standpoint point of view, is to bring Jews to recognizing Christ as Savior, right? But they will do all kinds of things that they feel to make this happen. And it couldn't be delusional about Israel's role in maybe certain things that are not good and stuff like that. And they also just not being delusional about Israel, but they can also be very delusional about race in America. And you have a lot of these white ministers who preach to because a lot of white ministers, a lot of Black people, especially during the charismatic movement in the late 80s and 90s and stuff, a lot of Black people start going to churches that were white ministers. I went to a lot of churches. Most of my ministers growing up were white. So I know. And what you had in the Black church was a whole nother situation. But a lot of Black people went to those charismatic churches because they taught more in terms of the Bible, the Word of God, and stuff like that. It gave you more information and things like that. But also, unbeknownst to a lot of Black people, they were being indoctrinated sometimes with white supremacy. Because, in my opinion, the church has not checked their white supremacy. It has been having this problem for a long time. Even Azusa, the reason Azusa happened was because of white supremacy. It was a Black minister that had to, I think it started Azusa. I mean, and you look at this, the whole thing about the Assemblies of God and the racist, alleged racism in there and how the split happened and all those things. The church has always had a hard time with race. As a matter of fact, Christianity, I always say this, Christianity, I always tell Black people, is a Judeo Middle Eastern religion. Okay. Black people tend to disregard the intelligence of their ancestors. Black Americans, sometimes not all of us, but some of us do tend to disregard the intelligence and the brilliance and the will to survive of our ancestors who were slaves. People think, oh, they brainwashed them into Christianity, and perhaps they brainwashed them in certain parts. But my personal opinion about Christianity, because people tend to have a reference thing of only white America and Christianity. But remember, Christianity was a book that had been, it was a Middle Eastern Judeo-Christian Judeo religion. So starting in the Middle East, right? This had spread all over the world before the slave trade. So do you think that the slaves hadn't heard the stories of Christianity and God? There were Christian churches established in Ethiopia and parts of Africa. So I don't consider Christianity a white religion, but I do consider the brand that the slave holders tried to do, and I see that has been infused a lot with white supremacy. Now, did Black people always believe it? No, I don't think so. I think the slaves were very intelligent, knew the story of God. And I think they also had an intimacy with God that the slave master couldn't understand. As a matter of fact, it made us a powerful people. We've created every American thing there is. God used the least to be the first. We are the culture. We are the true American thing. So yes, so I never but I also understand that history is in white slave trade. White slaveholders would use Christianity to justify treating black people bad. So it's not surprising to me. Even when I see Fox will go into a whole Christian thing, but won't have empathy for black people. Crazy. Okay. Crazy. I believe, really, I'm going to tell you the truth. I believe that the church is going to see some shakeups because you cannot play in God's face. You cannot sit up here and pretend you're Christians and not have empathy for your neighbor and what they've been through. To not check yourself or your country for doing a group of Americans harshly or wrong. As a matter of fact, the Bible teaches you that you are supposed to have some sort of not only repentance, but you're supposed to have a sense of an obligation to a man that you have wronged or their children's children. And white people can't act like they don't believe in inheritance. Like Charlie Kirk told one guy, "Well, reparations. I mean, well, you're not a slave," and that's gaslighting. You're not. I didn't own any slaves, but your ancestors probably did, or they probably participated in the slave trade, or they voted for a government that was okay with slave trade and everything. You know what has happened. And in order for the government to have a true, because if you understand the word of God, you understand true repentance. Means we pay our what we owe. That's when they lack Christianity, bad Christian values. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna you're gonna see this whole thing. I'm finding it rather shocking in some senses. I always say I appreciate the real white supremacists because they tell the plan, but it's always rather shocking to see it play out in real time, like people praising someone who actually said horrible things about Black Americans in this country and consider Black Americans as getting their jobs from DEI and all these things when Black people barely benefited from DEI. It was white. You can look up articles right now and it will tell you who benefited. Matter of fact, I'm looking at this article from CNN. It said DEI programs benefit many groups, not just Black and brown communities. Okay, but it did not. White women have been one of the biggest beneficiaries. No, they were the biggest beneficiary of diversity programs in the workplace. Experts on DEI say many companies have launched initiatives to give women a fair shot at leadership roles. It has mostly been white women, including okay, yeah, and they says according to job search site Zipper, 76% of chief diversity officer roles were held by white people, and 54% are held by women. And it was mostly benefiting white women. Okay. Um, and the problem is we didn't make these programs about lineage, and uh, it ended up helping people. It ended up helping other groups, but not the group that needed it the most. Okay, but it said the failure of DEI it did not equate to Black progress. So why keep fighting for it? DEI has strengthened white wealth, not Black progress. This is from let's see, an article by Diamond K. Jones from Culture and Community. It says A 2020 report from Catalyst exposes the unequal benefits of DEI. White women, due to their proximity to white men in corporate and social spaces, have leveraged DEI policies for their own advancement. Meanwhile, Black communities, the very people DEI was supposedly designed to uplift, has seen little to no systematic change. Now, remember this too. You have the elites too that are operating the system of white supremacy, which the elites could care less about white supremacy. They don't even actually believe in white supremacy. Elites believe in elitism. They don't even really like, they even have a spot where they put whites. Okay, so you know it's bloodline and all kind of stuff. But these elite groups use white supremacy to their advantage. Now they're working through the Democratic Party. They switched parties. Once they were working through they were working through the neocons, which is George W. Bush. It's all about globalism, really, because the elites are trying to push a global world right now. Okay, that is their dream, to have globalism. And so they want to push against anything that promotes national sovereignty and stuff like that. And that's why where men like Charlie Kirk and other people like that come in, because in some senses, not all the things Charlie Kirk has said was wrong. Having national sovereignty and stuff, I don't think that's wrong. I don't think most people would think that was wrong. Or I don't believe in illegal immigration. That's not racist to not believe in illegal immigration. Now it is racist to think every person is every illegal immigrant is this person or this, that. You know what I'm saying? Illegal immigrants can come from all over, but these were the doors that opened for guys like Charlie Kirk and white supremacy to have a foothold, because some things are rooted, some conservative values are not bad. Okay, so these guys come in and then they add on the white supremacy to it. Okay. It is like Hitler. Hitler didn't come into a Germany that was well. And I'm not comparing Charlie Kirk to Hitler. Just please don't take that. But I'm just saying that people don't share ideologies. Their ideologies don't. I'm saying Charlie Kirk, I believe, in my opinion, was a white supremacist who claimed Christianity. And I don't know if Charlie Kirk was aware of that. I think he thought he was doing the right thing. I think he had so been staunch in the belief. But then sometimes I thought Charlie Kirk was also playing a money game. I'm not sure, because there's some things Charlie Kirk would say, certain things that I didn't disagree with. Like Candace Owens said some things sometimes I don't disagree with. But I don't like when people have a lack of empathy, or they don't have their information all the way right, and they target Black Americans. They tend to always make that their target. So I don't like that. And even Candace has kind of changed up on that. Okay. But Hitler did not come into a Germany that was well. He came into a Germany that was impoverished. Germans were having a lot of problems. There were a lot of things going on in Germany, and Germany needed a sense of national identity. So Hitler was able to come in and do those things. I'm not even saying Trump is that. I'm not saying, because I don't believe that. I'm saying that supremacist ideology can come in and take hold, because elitists at the top have created a situation through wars and all kinds of things that make the people in certain countries and places, and the elitists have been working like this for a long time. That's why I say we're living in a psyop. The elitists will make you feel like it's unfair. Hey, it's unfair. Suddenly, like, even the elitists work through the Democratic Party. That's why I don't like either party. Democratic Party. And I like Trump better in office for the foreign policy than I did Biden, because I knew that the Trump believed in a sense of sovereignty. Not that I like Trump. It's just that there was a sense of nationally there was some things that he was gonna do to make that playing ground, to maybe it was gonna be a disruption to us, but it was going to make the playing ground easier for Black Americans to be able to fight for things like lineage and put more pressure on the Democratic Party to do things that help Black people or get dumped. Right. So, and even possibly even put pressure on the Republican Party, right? But you can have when you have people suddenly, people are not making as much money in their workplace, and all of a sudden you're bringing, like Biden brought in busloads in the middle of the night, illegal immigrants, dropping them off in different cities and this and that, giving them $13,000 cards. You're creating an atmosphere when people, the citizenry, is not feeling any love from the country. The citizens are like, well, wait a minute here. Why are you giving people who are non-citizens $13,000? That's the elites working through these parties. Just like with Trump, now you got racism, like a loud white supremacy racism. So you have these parties both do their thing, but it's really the elites at the top controlling them. Okay, and that's the psyop we live in. So the psyop is going on, like they coming in the middle of the night, so they're creating anger. People are getting mad. It creates all these immigrants, and it starts to sound racist. But it's not really. It's coming from a place of you're not. Why are you bringing people in when it's people here that need a job? But that is how they create chaos on the upper levels. These elites do. They create chaotic energies. And so what'll start happening is you'll start having people fighting against each other. You'll start having all kinds of groups and stuff like that. It will become a more nationalism, which is a not a bad ideology to say country first, but suddenly it'll be infused with a white supremacy. Because people are feeling less powerful. And it is wrong to do that. They set up these scenarios. That's why I tell people neither group can you trust. This is going to just make most Americans, as they see the ugly vow, racial talk and stuff like that, what it's going to do is they're going to just run to the Democratic Party. And then the Democratic Party is going to have their own sauce that they're going to do for the elites. And you're going to feel discouragement under them. That's why I say you cannot buy into either one of these parties. You can't take them personally. You got to put pressure on them to do things that help you as a citizen. But you can't be taking these parties personal and be all like friends with them and thinking they're, oh yeah, this is. No, they're politicians and they have to have pressure. Otherwise, the elites run them. Okay, when you have a citizenship that don't pay attention, the elites come through. Okay, and then you have doors, men like this Charlie Coke with a smidge of truth can come in because people are feeling disenfranchised, and people make other people think that my problem is rooted in this cause or this happening. But it's not really rooted in those things. A lot of times it's rooted in elites allowing certain things to happen that they should not be allowing to happen. Okay. Elites paying groups and parties and stuff like that. How Trump got in was a very real reason. People hated illegal immigration. People didn't think it was fair to watch people get $13,000, $15,000 checks and stuff. They even had black people cheering. The liberals had black people cheering, and some black people cheering illegal immigration, even though illegal immigration don't benefit black people at all. Okay, but that is what got Trump in there. And the talk of the whole COVID. What happened is the Democratic Party became the party of a party that was unrecognizable. It became the party against free speech, a party against conspiracy, when the Democratic Party used to be that party. Suddenly now the progressives have become the Republican Party. Okay. It's psyops, okay? That's why you got to do your own thinking for your own self, all right? But DEI was never a black person's thing. It was a white woman's thing. It was affirmative, like affirmative action was too, okay? It says a 2022 McKinsey and Company study found that 63% of DEI leadership roles are held by white women, not black women, not Latino or indigenous women. This reveals a stark reality. And even those groups have more parts, more than black people. Okay. Black people had less than 4% of DEI. Okay. This reveals stark reality. DEI has become an extension of white feminism, solidifying white women's place in corporate America while using black women as the face of the movement. Yes. And that is why it's being gutted too. White women is by this is an attack on white women, to be honest. It's not a black people are you. That's why I said, why are you guys out here marching for white women? This is an argument between white women and white men. They are fighting right now because they want white women at home having children. White women have become emboldened. White women have gotten away. This is what I'm just telling you. What the what these white male patriarchy movements are feeling right now. Okay, they think white women have become emboldened. They become more richer, more wealthier. And part of that is become DEI programs that white liberals set up to make black people believe they were going to be the beneficiary of, made black people believe they were going to be this, and they weren't. What white liberals used was to solidify their own group movements in white America. They used the black justice claim to move white women and people that white men felt were not as acceptable to white America, which means white gays, white this and that. All these people have become a part of a justice claim that was meant to be for black American people who were the descendants of slaves in America. It says, meanwhile, says this reveals it says, meanwhile, black professionals are left tokenized, sidelines, and without real decision-making powers, proving that DEI has been more about optics than actual systematic change. For over 50 years, affirmative action and DEI programs have overwhelmingly benefited white women. So Charlie Kirk, when he was sitting up there arguing with black people and saying, when I see a DEI hire, I'm looking at him and saying, is that a black pilot? Did he get his job? No, yeah, he probably most likely got his job because he was good at it. When I see a white person, I'm wondering, do they get their job because being white in America gets you a lot of things. But he didn't ever confront the real beneficiaries of DEI, which was white women. He never hardly did that. He only used to pinpoint at black people like we were benefiting from it. Okay, that was he wasn't even educated on that part. Okay, which I believe he was. But I believe they're gutting these programs because of what's going on with white women. Okay, but it says, meanwhile, it says, gaining them the highest increases in income. Listen to this: for 50 years, affirmative action and DEI programs have overwhelmingly benefited white women, gaining them the highest increases in income, executive positions, and economic mobility. Meanwhile, the racial gap for Black Americans has barely moved and in many cases widened. Okay. If DEI worked, Black wealth would have grown. Okay. And that's because we didn't see how tricky the liberals were being with us. Black people should have said our justice claim is our justice claim. It is not the claim of Hispanics. It's not the claims of Chinese. It's not the claim of this person. Black people have had a different experience. Black Americans have had a different experience in this country than any other group. The diaspora may feel some remnants of our experience, but once they found out, usually you're from the diaspora, they treat you differently. Okay. But Black Americans have been the ones that have been mistreated in America. Excuse me. They have paid the overwhelming cost of being Black in America. And to me, what a lot of liberals convinced Black Americans to do was to attach other people to their justice claim, which left them out. The justice claim should have been, I agree with Yvette Carnell and Antonio Moore when they said the justice claim should have been about lineage. It says, imagine if over the last 50 years, Black communities had concentrated on building generational wealth through business ownership, land acquisition, and economic self-sufficiency rather than investing hope in unfulfilled promises of DI. But that's still a problem because there is racism in you even heard somebody who has tried to build up companies and stuff. Byron Allen has had to sue a number of advertisers and people to get people to invest in Black business. He owns the Weather Channel. He's still experiencing a form of racism in business. It's not just that easy about Black people just imagining, oh, just when you would have owned this and owned this. There's systematic racism even works on the levels of neighborhoods and what neighborhood you live in, what homes you buy. This is how controlled that system in America has been. And men like Charlie Kirk just thought that was supposed to disappear overnight. I know he knew better, but that's the thing he liked to sell. Okay, well, you're doing better now. Well, you're doing this and that, but what you're not understanding is no. Meanwhile, they're gaining more wealth. You might be living a little bit better, but they're going way better. They're still benefiting off of your their family's history of white supremacy, the slave trade, and segregation in America and Jim Crow. And meanwhile, Black people are still being affected by all of that. Even though we're educated now, even though we're this and that, in the workplace, Black people still don't get as much money for sometimes as their white counterparts do for the same job. There is still an underlying movement of racism. Okay. To me, the DI gutting these programs to me are good in some ways because it now allows groups like ADOS, FBA, all these FBA doesn't consider them, Foundation of Black Americans consider themselves, they just consider that to be their race. ADOS has a group. It lets groups like ADOS continue political movements towards dealing with Black people gaining reparation and it being a lineage driven thing in America, because part of the reason Black America has been hit so hard is because it bought into movements that they were the face of, but they did not benefit from. Okay. So men like Charlie Kirk, those were a lot of things that they would go out and spew, but that wasn't true. Okay. Again, very sad that America got to watch someone. You get to see. First of all, it's sad to even have to see violence like that. Somebody shot, but America has always been crazy. Okay, this ain't new. America, this ain't new. I say, I hate to say it, but public lynchings is as American as apple pie. Okay, America has had a problem with violence, and particularly white people. You have had a problem with violence. White on white violence has got to stop. This was not a Black person that did this to Charlie Kirk. I knew it wasn't going to be. Most Black people in America, we already knew it wasn't going to be no white person that did this to Charlie Kirk. Okay. I mean, no Black person that did this to Charlie Kirk. We knew it. We knew it because we know how we are. We knew it wasn't going to be no Black person. Okay. We knew it was going to be a conservative too. We was just sitting back waiting. Because often white supremacists tend to fight against themselves. Even white liberals and white conservatives fight, and I tell people, are always an illusion. They agree with the same thing. They just have different methods to doing it. Not all white liberals, not all white conservatives, but the majority who are in the ideology of rooted in the ideology of white supremacy, they will kill each other uh, trying to argue methods. I feel like the white liberal white supremacists thinks men like Charlie Kirk are reckless and are set white supremacy back hundreds of years because we're aware of the Charlie Kirks of the world. Okay? But what we're not having, what black people we haven't become aware of, even though Malcolm was warning us time and time again, was the liberal white supremacist, the one that befriends you. But we become so friendly with them that we don't put pressure on them to do what they need to do. Black people have become deeply entrenched in liberalism to the point that we will let them get away with anything. And the same thing for black conservatives. To hear Charlie Kirk say stuff about like black pilots, but I've heard a lot of black conservatives did not like that talk. To hear him say stuff about black women getting their jobs certain ways and stuff like that, you should be hate. You should be like, no, you're not gonna do that. All black people didn't get their jobs that way. Black people, and plus he was wrong. That DEI did not do any of that. DEI did not help Black America. He was wrong in who DEI benefited. DEI benefited white women, and white black conservatives, instead of bootlicking and kissing ass, should have been over there saying, Charlie, you're wrong on that. We didn't benefit from a DEI. Your counterpart did. And hopefully this will let the black have the, maybe I've seen a lot of black conservatives out here. It's been kind of scary. Okay. And that's what happens. It's not just the black conservatives that deny their own values and sense of self, but it's also the black liberal too. You guys have been doing that too, denying your own values and sense of self just to have somebody like you. You will fight the liberal fight and not the black fight. You guys are more delusional than these other people over here. They're in Delulu land, the white conservative, the black conservatives. But nothing I have seen as delusional as the black liberals, and that's because white liberals are very friendly to black people. I mean, white liberals black people, abortion was like the actual abortion clinics were created. Margaret Sanger was an actual eugenist who hated black people. And black people will promote. Oh my God. What liberals have got black people doing is crazy. Okay. We got to stand on our own in between these fools. Okay. That's all I can tell you. And the coming, it's the people who don't buy into none of these sides. Okay. And then when we do say, I believe that both sides can work for the good of black people. Trump sometimes works for the good of black people, but black people are so mad and angry, and they're not used to straight up racism. You're used to hidden racism. You're used to the liberals petting you on the head and like, yeah, yes, you're a nice one. Yes, you should have your way done. You should have this done for you, and you should. But you're used to them like giving you half truths, giving you half this, but also helping they self benefit while they go way above you, and then they give you a little crumbs. Okay, we can feed them a little bit of crumbs so they won't go anywhere. Give them a little bit symbolism, but meanwhile, we're doing the business of white supremacy. Let those conservatives act like they don't like them and everything like that. That's not the way to get these Negroes. Become their friend. And we just haven't got it yet. Okay. And we haven't. And my personal opinion is we could really be using the Democratic Party right now in a way that is powerful if we weren't so friendly towards them and friendly engaged to them, acting like you have no other choice. No, we do got choices. Okay. Okay. But what's happened is the world of celebrity, which is very dependent on the white liberal because white liberals run Hollywood, and the world of of black media, not all black media, not the new black media and grassroots media, but have become dependent on a lot of these liberals, and they can't say anything outside of liberalism or say something that, hey, this is this. They can't, it's, you can't have no middle ground because they're not fighting anymore the black agenda. Like, we don't have a black caucus, in my personal opinion, anymore. It's the whatever caucus. Black caucus has really been dismantled, in my opinion. They don't work for anything for black people. They say, oh, well, we're working for all people. No, the black caucus, when we put you in there, a lot of times we wanted the black caucus to confront issues of the black community, but now they confront issues of all kind of communities and leave us in the dirt. So we have to get real about some of these things that the white liberal side has been doing too, and that the white conservatives have been able to attack from them, that have been very real. It's easy to attack the white conservative. It's easy to attack the Charlie Kirks of the world, but it's not easy to attack the white liberals who pretend that they're not the same racist. Okay. So, yeah. So I'm going to leave that there. I'm always empathetic, even though he didn't believe in empathy. I am always empathetic towards human suffering and humans experiencing a loss and sadness. So on that note, even a guy who I felt used Christianity has a guise. I'm not questioning, his faith is between him and God, but also hid his white supremacy. No, he didn't hide it. He was very out there with his white supremacy, but connected to his Christianity, so it would be it didn't look that way to white people. No, it looked that way. They know exactly what it was. I still will have some empathy for his family and their loss. And empathy towards Charlie, because 31 is too young. 31, I am a much different person at my age now than I was at 31. And it is sad that he did not get to evolve and get to to continue to talk to people and have an exchange of ideas. Now, I'm not sure if he would have changed. Who knows? But that's sad that he doesn't even have the shot. Okay. And it was not due to black people doing anything to Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was shot by another white person, another white thug, a white thug out here, a little young thug, and in the middle of Utah. And we got to stop white on white crime. And I'm not trying to be funny. I mean, y'all infighting each other. We ain't. This is the same thing. But is white on white crime new? No, the Civil War was white on white crime. I mean, they just asked us to get into it. They were like, y'all want to get free? Help us out. Okay. But it really was white on white crime. Okay. The most bloodiest war in America was white on crime. The second one, the Revolutionary War, was between Europe and America being dissenting from Europe. That's white on white crime. Listen, it's always that is nothing new. Okay. Quit acting like black people are the violent ones here. Okay, this is wild. It's just wild. And yeah, they were sad because it was not a person. Same thing with Trump. When Trump got shot, almost shot in the ear, it was a white boy. What's going on out here? Okay, don't try to make this a black thing. Black people, we are respectful of others' opinions and thoughts, even when we don't like them. Are some of the most powerful, loving group there is. We're almost too empathetic to people. So on that note, I'll leave that there. Okay. All right. So you guys, let's talk about some other things for the week. Okay. Let's get something. uh different here. Um okay, let's talk about Miguel. Y'all was so upset about Miguel this week. Was I surprised about a guy like Miguel? And what was his wife, his ex-wife Navia State. I talked about them on my show a couple of years ago. She was around, she stayed with this man for 17 to 20. When you first of all, when you doing a 17-year bid with a man, he don't like you. He for real. I know, no. When we doing a 17-year bid, a 17, we going 17 years and he not married, and you want to be married. Now, not if both of y'all don't want to be married, that's a different story. But if you're doing a 17-year bid and one of you wants to be married, like he wants to be married, or no, basically you want to be married and he does not want to be married, I question him liking you, okay? And I heard Tasha K talk about this week. I was cracking up. She was talking about how she said that his wife, she said she didn't eat no carbs. She said she spent years not eating no carbs for this man, trying to get this man. And probably competing, because when you're dealing with men that are R&B rock stars and stuff like that, there are other women that come into the fray. Women are, you're always, these men sometimes will have you competing with women all the time, even though you the wife, or you the main girlfriend. Ain't no main girlfriend, you know what I'm saying? Like, have you out here doing some crazy shit, like not eating no carbs. Oh, Tasha cracked me up with that. But she was like, he was, because rumors was that Miguel was out here in the feet and the play. It was a playboy. Okay, he was out here in these streets, allegedly in these model streets. But meanwhile, this woman stayed by his side. He even finally married her after 17 years. And then quickly they were going through a divorce because there were rumors about cheating, rumors about all kind of stuff, and who knows what exactly that he put. But here is the stinger that everybody was talking about online. Miguel announced this week that he has a child with filmmaker Margaret Zhang, who also was British Vogue. I mean, was she not British Vogue? Was it Chinese Vogue or something? I forget what it is. One of the Vogue magazines. She was like the head of the magazine or something like that. They celebrate Angel's first son. They celebrate son Angel's first birthday. Okay, and let y'all see. Put this up here, y'all, so y'all can see it. Man, listen, I can't get mad at Miguel for doing that. She and I'm sure not. Listen, I'm sure that, what's her name? Navia? I forget her name, but I'm sure she can only look at it and say, well, you know what? It just wasn't meant to be with me. And maybe she was glad it wasn't meant to be with her, especially if he was out in these streets. Okay, like he was out, like y'all saying he was out in these streets. Okay, which I got my own beliefs about Miguel. Okay, but I digress. But here's here's it says, this is from Hollywood Unlocked. It said, singer Miguel reveals he secretly welcomed his first child with filmmaker Margaret Zhang. The reveal arrives as they celebrate their son's Angel's first birthday. Okay, and this is kind of like speaking to what Tyrese said. Remember, Tyrese said he was messing with women all around the world. Okay, and this I'm going to read some of the quotes from Hollywood Unlocked. This is Jacqueline Nicole said, the fact that he wasted that woman's time for 10 years is disgusting. Where's that lady he been with since the beginning of time? Okay, hold up. Did they just have a baby on his ex birthday? Oh no. Somebody said, who the fuck is Margaret? Okay, I thought he was married to that one lady he's been with forever. Okay, a man will always choose him and do what's best for him. So that's her name. So Nan Zanina, and she's beautiful too. That Nan Zanina. Amanda gave years to this man, 2005 to 2023, 2022. Then he meets someone else, has a baby, and celebrates the child turning one. Well, that happens, Listen, okay, maybe it's not meant to be. He wasn't meant to have a child with that person, okay? And maybe Nana Zini, whatever her name is, did not want a child with him, and there may have been reasons, especially if he was cheating and stuff like that. It happens with women. I just saw a story the other day where a woman had been divorced for about 2 or 3 years. She was in her 50s, was not planning on having no children, was out there messing, had a relationship with somebody, not even, and got pregnant. And she never she never was pregnant by him, but she never had a baby with a man, with the husband. Okay, so that sometimes happens. Miguel, okay, her and Miguel moved on from each other, and Miguel finally got a baby. Now, what I will say to Margaret, don't, unless y'all married, Margaret, it seemed like Miguel out here playing in your face too. You just went where Nana Zini wasn't going. Nana Zini said, I want to be able, I done gave you a bunch of years, but I ain't giving you no womb. Which we're going to talk about women giving up their womb in a minute. Okay. But I ain't give you no womb for free. And she might have said, but she even married him. Okay. I remember she had a reality show and I was like, oh no, she was on with the other R&B girls. I was like, don't do it. Don't do it. Okay. But am I surprised a playboy like him has a baby with some Japanese girl across the way? Or what's it? I don't know if she's Japanese or what. Am I surprised? No. And again, black women, this is again Miguel, okay? Is Miguel speaking to what Miguel speaking to what he like? I don't know. Okay. But what I will say to y'all is that y'all don't be surprised. Y'all going off too. How many drinks did it take? You know what? Somebody said, I want to say he wasted Nasi's time, but for all we know, maybe she's the one that didn't want a kid by him. I hope my girl, all right, though, Niz will literally waste years of your life. Major downgrade. She is that whatever her name is. She was beautiful. I ain't gonna lie on that. It's 2025. He's been divorced since 2022. The baby is a year old. I'm sure they both struggled letting that relationship go. I wish them both well. Okay. Was somebody said, was this an ex for 20 years? Ain't had a baby. Maybe she didn't want one. And that's true. But 6 months later, pop out with a baby. Stop giving a man years of your life. 2 years top. Okay, I say 5 years. I said 5 years to y'all. Okay, I guess somebody said 2 years. Okay, I can go with that. And somebody said, I read to the comments because I knew the girlies would eat him up. Ladies, it's 2025 because after 10 years, you telling me you moved on and have a baby with someone else and calling her best mommy sign. I know this hurts his ass. You know what? It is what it is. It lets her know. And for her, I bet it was not a waste of time. You know what I'm saying? You can't look at it like that. What you have to look at it as is a lesson learned. This is lessons, baby. This is lessons. And be glad he didn't play in your face and marry. Well, he did marry her. He married her and played in her face, allegedly, I heard in these streets. I heard, allegedly. Okay. So just because you get that win, that's like Derek Jackson's wife. Okay, she even talked about it on that show, Miss Wifey or whatever that Miss Wifey podcast, something like that. When she said she knew he was a playboy before she married him, and she'd be walking up the steps, and women literally be walking down the steps. And when she finally got him to marry her, she was like, "I got him, I Miss Jackson, I Miss Jackson." But she was the fool. He didn't give a damn about that marriage. She was still out in these streets. And now I heard recently he tried to get his last name back from her. Oh my God. Listen, if he's playing in your face, don't let him do it. I don't care. I heard this story the other day. Somebody was telling me the tea on somebody. This tea, they give me the tea. They give me the tea out here, okay? They was telling me the tea about this long-term, this particular artist, okay? And the tea is that he's a playboy, right? And so he been running these streets for a long time. So he had a real girlfriend back in the day. He was with. But he went and got a side chick. And he was like, okay, she cool. I go party with her. I go kick it with her. The real chick got like dissed his ass, left his ass, high and dry and sad and sorry, and he's out here crying in these streets. But then he made the side chick the main chick. And the main chick just been waiting. He just was playing in her face, dumping her, getting her back, dumping her, getting her back, spinning the block. Let me spin the block. Let me see what she doing today. Let me see what she doing today. Finally, the motherfucker said, "This he's playing in my face." I'm just a little uncomfortable place to come lay your head. He's still out here looking. That's how I be sometimes. They be out here looking still. Okay? And you can't let him play in your face that long. And here it is, some 15 years later, and he just played the face all day. Okay? Because he don't like her. And it'd be a shame if he had married you. He would have really played in your face. Okay? Okay, so yeah, I'm not surprised about that. Okay, I'm not surprised about the whole Miguel. That just no, I'm not surprised. Like, it's okay. Um, okay, let's see what else I want to talk about, y'all. Okay, this woman had a very interesting thing. She says that she's saying why married women are unhappier. This woman is saying that a lot of, and this is in this week's episode of Oprah's Book Club. At Oprah talks to one of the most beloved writers of our time, New York Times best-selling. Um, Let me see. I can Elizabeth Gilbert writer about her latest memoir. All the what is this? All the way. I can't really see it, you guys. Hold on. All the way something river or something. I can't read it. Tattoo watch. So Cher was really going in her life during that time. Okay, Eat, Pray, Love was released, including her own journey with sex and love addiction, shocking stories about what happened after Raya was diagnosed with cancer and Liz's personal surrender to recovery. Okay, but on here she says why married women are unhappier. Okay, so take a listen to this. I found this very interesting. Okay. Uh, oh, I'll share it for you guys. Hold on. Okay, let me replay this for y'all. Okay, hopefully y'all can see. Okay, okay, wait a minute, guys. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, huh. Oh, you guys can't see it.
To give me some of it back,
Sorry.
right? I'm going to beg you to give me some love. Meanwhile, I've just emptied myself of all that I contain into you. And now I'm going to beg for scraps. And I've heard it called a crumaholic too. I'm going to beg for crumbs. I'm going to beg for scraps. Now, that's bad math, right? It's like, what if we cut out the middleman and you just pour all of that love and resources into yourself, right? But I didn't know how to do that, and I didn't think I was worthy of that. And I was taught by my culture that what you do is you go out and, especially women are taught this.
Yes.
You get love by pouring in, and then you hope that you get some back.
That's right.
And you give up and sacrifice for this person.
This is why you write later in the book that women who are married end up being unhappier because they've given. Where on the other hand, the men who are married are just fine because they're the ones who are being taken care of. They're the ones who everybody is pouring everything into.
This is called the marriage benefit imbalance. And marriage is a very good deal for men. It's not a good deal for women. I don't know what the statistics are in same-sex marriages because I don't think it's been studied. But the question remains, who's playing the traditional role of the wife in this relationship, meaning who's overgiving?
Oh, I love that. Let me just say this. Okay, it depends on the man, it depends on the woman, it depends on the marriage. I think often women do go into marriages over giving. Women are often the over givers in relationships. Even when you're trying to get that man, or when women are trying out here trying to get a man that they really like or something, and they find themselves overgiving sometimes, overgiving in relationships. They call it the chaser runner dynamic out here. Somebody will be chasing somebody, and you're giving more and more. Like I just talked about Derek Jackson and his wife, and how she saw he was not wanting to be faithful or loyal, but she thought she could change him. So she started giving too much of herself. Same thing, I told that story about that girl I talked about who gave too much of herself, hoping to have this person's last name and all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times women are already practicing in practice mode of over giving to relationships before they get married. Now, I have seen some extraordinary women today. Let me just say this, and I'm going to play this other young lady in a minute, because she's trying. A lot of women, they're saying women have become more like prostitutes today. I disagree with that. I think women are saying that marriage is tough. Excuse me, guys, I have a little cold here, but marriage is tough on the woman going in. Especially if you have children, okay? Marriage, you're going to take the burden in working out of the household. Probably more than likely men make the money and stuff like that. Sometimes women do too. But the majority of the burden of the kids, watching the kids and stuff, a lot of times still falls to the woman, okay? A lot of the emotional burden and all the managing the household and all of those things require a lot from a woman. So what you're seeing today, I think, are women saying, before I take on the burden of being a wife, or I decide to be a wife, there are some things I need in place to make sure that I have a better experience in this thing. And so you find women a lot more looking at men for their ability and their potential of earning, because when a man can earn more, it depending on the type of man he is and everything like that, it can help you to be a little bit better of a wife. That doesn't mean that bad things can't happen and he can lose his earning potential. But I'm saying, for the most part, if you got a guy who is a great earner or great this and that, it tends to make it easier sometimes on women. Okay, easier. You can have help outside the home with the children. You can afford daycare or babysitters and stuff like that, and you can also afford more to give to your spouse and your relationship and things like that when the money is flowing a little bit better. Okay, so now you have some women who that is some of the things they want before they even have a baby or even give up their wombs. Now, you do have a lot of women who giving up their wombs for free out here. Like, we just talked about Margaret out here in these streets, okay? Who just had a baby by Miguel, who's allegedly, y'all saying in these streets, Playboy, okay? I don't know Margaret if he done changed, but she had these baby, okay? She ain't had required nothing, okay? Okay, but I'm not surprised. That's why probably Miguel went after, if he is what y'all saying he is, he probably went after a girl like her because she's already well established and he don't got to put much into her. Okay, he might be a little boy in his head, right? But real men, a lot of their women are requiring men to be men, and it's tougher. And it's because women don't want to. A lot of women don't want to get marriage is already hard in of itself for both parties. But it could be it could take a more of an emotional toll on women, especially once they've had children, they've become settled in a marriage and all kinds of things. And a lot of times in marriages, women aren't allowed to deal freely with their emotions, their evolution they have and stuff like that. A lot of things are kept to themselves, just so many things, okay? And women are a more, in my personal opinion, emotional character, have more layers to them. Okay, men are can be more logical, a little bit more rational at times, and stuff like that. So women are very various things. Okay, so I totally agree that that certain women can be much more unhappier in marriages today, especially when they have children. Okay. And it's not the children make them unhappy. It's just the burdens of that you're giving so much to yourself that you lose who you are, literally. That it's sometimes hard to find you. And then what I hear sometimes in a lot of marriages is that when the kids are gone, because women haven't practiced or haven't been allowed to practice balance in their households, where there's time with husband and blah blah blah, but so much time and so many things have been given to everyone else, especially the children. When the children is gone, they find themselves not knowing who they are, not liking their spouse, not sure if they want to be in it still, all kinds of things. Okay. And these are women, even women without children go through this. Okay. So, yeah, very powerful statement that she said. And I don't think it's without merit. Okay. But I think also the new group of young people they're being very different. I think they're seeing marriage very differently. Okay. And that it requires a sense of investment. Okay. So, let's go to the next. Okay, y'all. Okay. You were still on Oprah. Okay, I saw this young lady on okay. And I wonder. I'm fine. Okay. This young lady has been on a few shows, and she's talking about. They said this is Miss Sarah Fontenot at Baller Alert. Okay, she said she's saying the queen says a woman that really likes you wouldn't want you to just keep spending money on her. Fellas, take note. Okay, listen, let me tell you, this girl, I believe she's been on here every show that I've seen her on. She is always catering to the man's side. I think she is in a position where she's always probably around wealthy males. I don't know if but women do spend money on men, but it's just I don't understand. She's always on here and she's always saying some weird stuff. Okay. But somebody said on here, a king's just supreme says, but she previously said she must date a rich man. What's the point of him being rich if you're not trying to spend his money? This is the same woman that also said that any man she dates pays her bills. These women be double talking. So some people have actually saw her on other shows saying that, and I wouldn't be surprised because she gives me that energy. Okay, so let me let y'all hear her talk. Okay. Oh, I'm not sure.
Doing is just what they do. You are not special.
Let me show you. This. Okay.
So someone may think, oh my God, he flew me on a jet, or oh my God, he flew me first class. And that care and watch how much money you spend and how much money you spending on them, they don't like you. Mm-hmm. Because a woman that likes you don't want you to spend all your money because she's mindful of the union and the partnership that y'all are building.
There it is.
If that woman is like, ooh, like women that are like, ooh, I need to get my hair and my nails done. Why is your hair and your nails not already done? This should be a lifestyle. Like if you literally, it's one thing to be like, oh yeah, because I have an appointment from here. I'm going to get my hair done. It's one thing to be like, oh yeah, I have my hair appointment. I have zero expectation for a man to be like, oh, here you go. You got to no. Now, if it happens, I love that for me, but it's not an expectation because it doesn't need to be. So I personally feel like us ladies, we got to get it together because it's that standard that's making men think that the transaction is okay. We hold the standard. It's all up to us at the end of the day as women, and we got to stop being so doggone cheap.
Because we see the clips of like, oh, what you gonna do for me? What you gonna do for me? What you gonna do for me?
You know what's crazy though?
That's crazy.
Those women that care and watch how much money you spend and how much money you spending on them, they don't like you. Because a woman that likes you don't want you to spend all your money because she's mindful of the union and the partnership that y'all are building.
There it is.
If that woman is like, ooh, like women that are like, ooh, I need to get my hair and my nails done. Why is your hair and your nails not? And then women will be like, well, I took my time to get ready. That man has time too. He took time out of his day to make sure that he prepared something. Hopefully he put some effort in. It's not just going to a thing. But this is another thing too, for the ladies that are listening. We got to be mindful that men with money, I'm doing air quotes right now, men with money or real men with money, a lot of the times what they're doing is just what they do. You are not special. So someone may think, oh my God, he flew me on a jet, or oh my God, he flew me first class, or oh my God, we went to this 5-star restaurant. Baby, that's what he does. You are not special. You insert girl here at this point, So I feel like we got to get really clear on what does each side have to offer. Are you looking for a dating experience, which is fine, or are you looking for partnership in life?
And I'm gonna tell you something, I believe her halfway. Okay, I think she is talking from an advantage. First of all, most women who are single women who are working on their own and doing their own thing, get their own hair and nails done. Most women do that. Okay, that work. I was a working girl. I worked with women. The women always got their own hair, nails. If I didn't know no women that it was it. Sprinkle. When we talk about Ray and Chloe and people like that, those women are talking about putting yourself in the proximity of wealth. Those are women who are talking about getting men that are wealthy. And a lot of times, if you're lucky enough, you start dating somebody will say, hey, babe, I got your hair and nails done. Don't worry about you. I got you. I want you to look nice. So he can afford it. Okay. This woman is always making certain types of women sound like it's like she coming in. I don't know. It feels like she always tries to make herself look like, you should be already getting in basic shit. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And yes, she's right about rich men. I've always told you on here, any man, if a man's not invested in you, you have to find out where that man's treasure is, what he values. That's what I say. I always say, if he values his money and he's spending it on you and he's putting effort into you and stuff like that, then that is where his that he cares for. You have to find out what a man's values is. Now, some men who are super rich, they don't like Puffy. I was saying Puffy's value was not in money, in my personal opinion, because Puffy was paying a woman $10,000 a month on her her mortgage, while he sat in jail and she testified against him. So he don't really care about money. He got so much of it, he'll pay for her. You know what I'm saying? He was giving everybody money. So that money isn't a value. But what I think where people got upset with Sean, a lot of people talk about this out here, where people start to turn on him, was the investment they saw made in Young Miami, because it was different. Not only was he investing money and finances in her, he was investing time. He was investing showing her as like his girl, or even though it wasn't exclusive, he gave her a show that he became a part of, that he talked with her. He was taking her. He seemed to have a different dynamic with her, where the other ones weren't getting that. So that told you he was doing something very different. Doesn't mean, but so his values changed when it came to her. And I think that's what made a lot of women upset, because they start to see maybe perhaps he cares more for her, or there is a dynamic he sees in her that he cares more, but maybe there's a dynamic he sees in her that he could deal with more, or he can help more, or something like that. And that made other people upset about it and stuff like that. Okay. And then there's the silent one that we don't hear, the Japanese, the Chinese one or whatever, that he had baby by, something like that. She ain't silent. You don't know what he do with her. Okay. But I agree with her on this. It is in value systems. And yes, listen, if you are a woman who is of a certain gold diggers, here's where she's wrong, and she knows this, okay? Because I believe she runs in a certain path. I can look at her, tell her how she moves. Okay, but real gold diggers are not dating guys who can't afford to do things for them. They're not even doing that. They're not even in your neighborhood. They're not even in your. So when she's talking about a woman wants you to, yes, when you're talking, especially when you're talking about very young relationships, very youthful relationships, you want a person, especially when you're dating. You don't want your young boyfriend who's 20 some years old to be spending all his money on you or something like that. You know what I'm saying? He's 20 some years old, he's trying to build his career. Okay. And I think that should be understandable. Okay. If you're wanting that kind of lifestyle, then you want a different type of man. You don't want the 20-year-old business guy if you're not willing to be patient and wait him out, or a 20-some-year-old person or something like that, or somebody who's just starting, or somebody who's just building. Okay. And a man has to have common sense, girl, to do that. If a man don't got no common sense, let me tell you something, ladies. If you watch men, it's the little things. I tell women all the time, it's the little shit. Because that's what the women used to tell me. It's the little good things, girl. If a man is trying to front and spending everything on you and stuff like that, and he fronting, then question him. And he's over it. He's stressing out because he can't really afford you and stuff like that, or he's feeling like he has to do those things to get you. Well, what kind of person are you? You can't speak up for yourself. You can't say, hey, babe, this week I can't do that for you, but hey, I got you in a couple of weeks. Or you can't do it. That is the remnants of somebody who will blame you, and later on everything. He'll do everything for you, but eventually you will be the blame if it doesn't work out. So be careful of those type of people that don't speak up for themselves and be able to navigate their own finances, and they don't say to you, hey, I can't afford really to do this, or I can't really this and that, or I can't blah 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 blah, and they can't afford to have that conversation with you. A woman shouldn't even have to say that to a man. Like, I don't want you to really spend all your money because blah, 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 blah. No, a man should already know that. He should be able to have that established. That's something he don't got. He ain't even going to participate in. You ain't even got to say that to no man. If a man bought you some flowers, he bring you flowers every day. And ain't until you say, now, can you afford these flowers? It's up to him to be like, or if you want to say to him, how you don't gotta buy me no flower, I really like this, or I really like this and this and that, and he feels the need to do that, that's on him. In my personal opinion, it's not up to you. Now you can talk to him about it as you get more serious and move into things. You should be able to have conversations about finances and things like that. But you don't want a man out here establishing something that he really ain't. And that's not, and to me, that's just common sense. Okay, so that's just my personal opinion. Okay, men, you shouldn't have to do that. If a man says, "Hey, I can't," if you're a girl that wants your hair and nails done, and you feel like a man should pay for it, well, then you probably have to be dealing with a different status of man. Okay. Uh. Uh. Some people are saying, for y'all that are saying she's contradictory because she dates a rich, and she's acknowledged that she's cool but not needed. Okay, she's saying that she sees, or somebody saying, I've only heard her on a few other shows, and I already peep game, but that's because she's saying that she sees more than a man. I agree, but she also, she probably does see more than what's in a man's wallet, but she's also probably positioned herself around nothing but wealthy men. Her choices, those are her choices because she's established herself in that realm. Let me tell y'all something about real gold diggers, and I'm not saying she is, okay, but real gold diggers talk the talk. If you know a real gold diggers are not instant gratification groupies and hoes and something like, get my hair done and my nails group. Real gold diggers do not act like that. They already get their hair, like she's saying, they already get their hair and nails done on their own and stuff because they're looking for other things. They're looking for estate planning, estates, and all that stuff. Who's got the wealth? Who's got this and that? They are not. This girl's out here talking to girls who don't know no better. Okay, but she probably already places herself in those realms. She's probably a gold digger. I ain't saying she is, but I'm saying she might be saying, I don't see what's in the man's wife. But she probably establishes herself, but nothing but men who are wealthy around men who are wealthy, and those are her choices. And that's nothing wrong with that. But that's probably what she does. But then she comes out here and tells you another thing. Because gold diggers are like the CIA. They don't really, you don't really know, you're not going to know their game. You're not going to know they're a gold digger. A lot of them are professionals. They got it going on and stuff like that. And they don't look for basic shit. Okay. Basic shit happens later on. And the ones that are instant, the ones coming new to the game, like gold diggers, most men just do their hair and nails and stuff like that. And, hey, babe, we're going to the Bahamas this weekend. I got you. What do you need? Don't worry about your outfits. We'll buy clothes there. Don't worry about your hair. I'll send for your hairdresser. They do. When you've met real gold diggers, their lifestyle is nothing. So this is talking shit to the average middle class, whatever, stuff like that. Okay, but this is probably not what she deals with. That's just my personal opinion. I'm sorry if I'm lying on you if you're not, if you ain't that, but I don't know. It's something about her. It's always the being that she says. It never feels natural. Okay, but that's just my personal opinion. I could be wrong. Okay, and then I'm going to talk about Neo. Okay. Okay. Y'all talking about Aisha again. Let's hear this.
Aisha Curry's so determined to always embarrass Steph Curry.
I never thought I was going to like him and he was going to be a high school basketball
People feel like
coach.
that about when Michelle Obama speaks about her 10 years of disliking Barack Obama.
That's wild as hell.
Yeah, that's wild. If a man said, I didn't like my wife for 10 years.
What? It's finished. His statement ass said, I didn't like Oprah for 10 years.
Oh, he's finished.
What? He like her co-workers and her man. That's it.
I think should.
I mean,
we don't like friendly girls.
All I need is life. What else I need?
But are we looking at this ridiculously?
No, she's just being honest about how she felt.
Oh my God, Lauren, I thought I was giving you the title of the realest nigga on radio. You had it. Right. When I walked out the room, I was going to be like, that's the realest nigga on radio, but right now.
No, because I think she's being honest about how she felt. I do agree with y'all that men could never. Y'all would be dragged. And I also think that there's always this thing because he's Steph Curry that anything she says is going to be out of here. Like,
that's
you know
true.
What I mean? To y'all's point, I can understand why people would feel like, bro, why? Like, who Steph Curry is. But if they have a relationship, but she ain't going to go out and talk about things that's going to cause issues in her household.
She got the vagina. Yes, she will.
Yeah.
She will. And look at this nigga in his face and he's going to be mad. Like, why would you say that? I was just being honest.
No.
Oh yes,
and he has to eat
he
that.
gonna be honest. If he gonna be honest, it's a problem.
Men love double standards when it works in your favor.
Humans.
Men.
No, what's
Humans.
As a man,
Yes.
there are certain things you cannot get on a platform and say about your wife, your
Never.
open relationship,
Nothing,
whatever,
nothing.
unless you want to deal with all of the stuff that
Nothing.
comes with it, right?
You can't say nothing.
But women can be a little bit more vulnerable. We can get into things if we choose to.
I'm
Right?
letting
That's our choice,
She's
right?
going with someone with this.
She's good.
Right?
She's real good.
But there are certain things that women can't openly discuss. Like Lori Harvey gets dragged and people call her all types of hoes or whatever because she's a single girl that dates people. But when somebody is young and bachelor and out here and outside and got all the whatever,
he's on the T-app.
T-app.
He's on the T-app.
But that doesn't matter.
He's exposed. It does matter.
No, it don't.
Why is...
I love what she said because I was going to say the same thing. Okay. Men, you can't say those things because you're a man and you don't think that way. Men are not as emotional. You're not as complex. You don't have the need. You do have the need to share your feelings, but in a different way than women do. Women share with other women. Women talk to other things. It's not an embarrassment to Steph. And women will say sometimes things when they're going through things in the relationship. Because a lot of times women take a lot of the brunt of things. And sometimes women, I love the way she explained it. There are certain things that men can't say on platforms because you're a man. And there are certain things that women can't get into because they're a woman. They have to be very careful in approaching how they sound or how they look. I believe we're in age. I don't believe a lot of times, like I said, red pill and people like that are calling out Aisha Curry, but Aisha Curry is the ultimate red pill girl. I don't know what y'all talking about. She's Christian values. I think Steph was the only guy she's been with. And I think when people hear those things, because a lot of times I think people don't know Steph and Aisha's story. So I think people tend to judge her harshly. But I think even men will change up and be like, "Oh, she's only been with the guy," or whatever, stuff like that. Because you'll see that, hey, there were different things. Hey, I wasn't exactly there with Steph, and most men didn't take that kind of thing as an embarrassment. They'd be like, "Oh yeah, when I first met her, I was trying to get at her. She wasn't trying to hear me," and stuff like that. Most men used to love the thrill of trying to chase a girl and catch her and finally getting the girl they wanted. Now today, a lot of the men out here are saying, "Don't chase a girl, don't do this and stuff like that because she really don't want you," and all that stuff and everything like that. Sometimes that's true, sometimes it's not. But a lot of men love the idea of chasing somebody and finally getting what they have, the person they've got it. Sometimes men get the women they want it and chase and everything, and then they don't want her once they get her. So that happens with men too. Okay, so let's not get on Aisha because she has questions because Steph finally got her. And she said, "Hey, a few years ago, I didn't think I was going to be after a guy like Steph. And now, hey, I'm married to him. I have several kids and stuff like that." And like you guys got mad at Aisha for saying she has eyes. She saw another man. She was joking and saying, "Oh, I put my red ring because he's cute," stuff like that. Because she's still a woman. She's still a joke. Men used to joke back and be like, "Yeah, I wish you would," or something like that. It's none of that. Y'all gotta come on. It's too much of y'all. Too many things out here y'all talking about. Okay, but I love the way she explained it. I totally agree. This is from Randy Parker, but I totally agree with the way Lauren handled that question, because I think there are certain things that men cannot discuss that women can. Okay. That's just my personal opinion. And certain things that men can discuss that women can't, right? Even though those lines are becoming very different to me too now and nowadays, okay? But I thought that was interesting. Hold on. Let's see, we can go to the next thing. Okay, this woman claims she understands polygamy now that she is older.
Like, I honestly, and obviously this is not the whole species of men, but I feel like most men are not created to be with one woman. Like, I feel like that's why it works so well for a man to have multiple households and not switch up. Like us as women, like, you know, like some women can do it, obviously, be like, oh, I'll be with this nigga and then I'll be with that nigga. But for the most part, a man can really manage, I don't know how many, but 1 to 2 households and still be present in both households.
It's crazy.
So, like, getting older, I feel like I understand polygamy more. Like, I honestly, and obviously, this is not the whole species of men, but I feel like most men are not created to be with one woman. Like, I feel like that's why it works so well for a man to have multiple households and not switch up. Like us as women, like, you know, like some women can do it, obviously, be like, oh, I'll be with this nigga and then I'll be with that nigga. But for the most part,
Okay. I don't think men tend to handle. Have you ever seen those polygamy shows? Men do not handle polygamy well. There are always issues with jealousy, money, finances, all kinds of things that come up. I actually think I'm gonna say something crazy. I've seen women handle polygamy better. Women actually are the, to me, in my personal opinion, men are very, when men are cheating, they're very, people can tell. You know, they like, and a woman, you can only tell when she wants you to know, when she's becoming reckless. Okay, when she wants you to know and she wants out. But most women are master cheaters. Okay, most women can handle, be with, be in a relationship and have a whole side piece that you don't know about, because it's unusual for women, and women tend to do that. And they can, not the women, not all women do that. Most women don't do that. But when women are polygamous and they have other relationships, I think they emotionally handle it better than men do. But I don't think either group, I can understand, because men are more physical. So it seems that way. Men are more attracted to the physical being. So I think that can be a look. But what happens after, at some point, I think a man does become emotionally attached to a woman. Even players, when a player, if you've ever had a player fall in love with you, he is fighting you the first, most women know this who have been involved with players, okay? They are fighting you the first several months. They don't want, because you are causing them to lose a sense of control, and they are becoming emotionally attached to you. Emotionally, their emotions are getting away with them and stuff like that. So yes, I do believe men, even who are in polygamous relationships, become emotionally attached to one of them. There's somebody he's emotionally attached to more than all of them. And I believe this creates problems in the dynamic and everything. Even in the Bible, when you see polygamous relationships, you see them go crazy. Okay. So, and usually there is a more something, one that a man is more attached to than the others, in my personal opinion. Okay. So I don't know if it's that men just aren't built for polygamy. Maybe it's that men are more, when their emotions become attached, maybe men are more sensitive to monogamy than in certain cases. Like, is sensitive into becoming one with one woman and sharing their emotions, because are being emotionally attached to them. It's far easier to not be emotionally attached and to have several women, right? So that, because maybe men become more hurt in those things. Whereas women, we are very hurt by cheating and stuff like that. But women are not afraid of the emotional, to get into the emotional parts of a relationship. You see only certain men that are scared of that. Okay. Only certain, and it's only certain ones, in my personal opinion. Only certain types of men that do that. I don't know if I think that if you say polygamy is not natural for a man, it's probably not natural for a woman. But I think polygamy is I think polygamy is an excuse to not be attached. Okay. And they'll claim they love two people and stuff like that. And that happens. People do fall in love with two people. That's happened in life. That's happened. But I think at some point, when people really examine their things, you have to see what is in the end is best for you and stuff like that. Okay. Yeah, polygamy is a very interesting thing. Okay. Yeah, but I don't know if I believe men manage their several households, because when all the polygamy shows I've seen, it seems like they were managing them well. I mean, they were tolerating. There was a lot of things that were tolerated. Okay, so I don't know. Just my opinion on that one. Okay. All right. So, okay. Speaking of polygamy, Neo. Let's talk about Neo and his women. Okay, Neo's out here talking.
If I walk out the house and forget something, she got it.
Neo is here talking about all his women, and they all have a special thing they do. This is from the Neighborhood Talk, okay? It says, y'all here for it? Neo describes everything he likes about his 4 girlfriends. I have a serious one. I have one I laugh with all the time. I have a writer and my artist. This is so crazy. He just ain't met the one yet. I'm just telling y'all what it is. Okay, he's crazy. Or he's something.
Everybody else, she's the reliable one. If I walk out the house and forget something, she got it. She's without even. Where's my?
Shout out to her. Okay, shout
out to her. I have one that I laugh with all the time. Everything is funny all day long. It's just what she does. I have my rider. If this the one, if I got in a fight with if I was getting jumped, she'd jump in and help me.
Okay. And shout out to her.
Yeah. And then I have my eclectic. She's the dancer. She's my artist. So everybody has their own thing, and it works. It works perfect. So one is a little more serious than everybody else. She's the reliable one. If I walk out the house and forget something, she got it. She's without even. Where's my?
Shout out to her. Okay. Shout
out to her. I have one that I laugh with all the time. Everything is funny all day long. It's just what she does. I have my rider. If this the one, if I got in a fight with if I was getting jumped, she'd jump in and help me.
Okay. And shout out to her.
Oh God. Here's the thing. If I know women like I know women, well, at least Neo feels like he's living in his truth. A lot of men are lying about their truth. I mean, okay, it is what it is. He's got one for, who's his writer, one who's a comedian, who gets up and maybe tells jokes, and there's one who, does this, and one who does that. Oh man, you know what? It really just sounds like a guy who does not want to do the work of relationships. Relationships are hard. It's so much easier to even getting into a relationship and working in it and finding out that it's not going to be working, or it doesn't work. It's not going to work out, or those things like that. I think that sometimes that's harder for men. And I think men like Neo would rather be detached from that kind of thing. They'd rather be take the immature route and just let me have a bunch of people that I'm detached to. But I guarantee you one of them he's more attached to than the others. And I think that it is an avoidance of really sitting down with yourself. Men like these, like Neo, in my personal opinion, well, he probably thinks they're muses. He probably thinks that he's living out his artistry and he's getting his I'm getting my love songs through these relationships and stuff like that. I don't believe that either. I think this is a man, I will always say, who does not want to do the work of becoming what he needs to become in his life. It is hard. It is hard to do the work. It is hard to make the choice to be like, you know what? I want to be a man that takes chances in relationships with one person. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, or if it doesn't this and that. But I want to be open to an experience of love with someone. This is not an experience of love. This is an experience of he's just having out in these streets. He's being detached, and the women will let him be detached. Okay, and there's probably one there that he might be more attached to. Okay, but yeah, I just feel like so many people. It's hard. I understand. I understand that the hardest thing it is to sit down with, excuse me, with oneself and really like see all the things that are good and not so good, and then work to try to change those things and work to try to be a better person. It's hard probably for him to understand, why have I been cheating allegedly they say, as his ex-wife said, in my other marriages? Why couldn't I settle down? It's so much easier to say, hey, I just like a bunch of women, that's why I'm a womanizer out in these streets. I bet there was no work to that. That's so much easier than delving deep to find out is that really who you are? Or is there some significant trauma or pain that has led you to this sort of lifestyle? And so many people, they would rather just take the easy route than to uh, um, take the hard route. So Bible say narrow is the road that narrow is the road that leads to to righteousness or something like that, and wide is the road that leads to destruction. It's so easy, the road that's easy to go down, everybody's going down, you know what I'm saying? It is hard. So I was just thinking about this week. This is a sidebar from this, but I was going through my life things, and I'm really trying to. I'm at another stage and phase in my life where I'm trying to do the work. And I had to cry to myself the other day, because I said, you know what? I had to apologize to myself about letting myself down so many times. I had to say sorry to me, that I'm sorry I have let you down, because I found other ways easier to cope, other ways easier to deal than to strictly sit with self and really just work on me and work on those things that, it's easier for me to get this to get through something, or do this to get through that, or do this to get through that. And I really had to say, hey, I forgive myself, because there are times when I just failed to do the work that needed to be done on self. And there are times like that now. Like today, I was like, I got real busy today with a lot of different stuff. And workout time came, and I was like, oh my God, am I going to go to, try to find some excuse? And I had to really say, no, you need to go walking. You need to go do your workout. You need to go do that walk. Okay. This is a part of the work, even when you don't feel like it. Because the results are going to be, you're going to be so happy with it. And so sometimes we can let so many things get in our way of doing the work on ourselves, because sometimes when we go through the work, or we make something become the path of resistance for us, you make it hard for us. We make working out hard and stuff like that, instead of making it the path of least resistance. And we start putting all kinds of things in front of things, or whatever it is that we do. It's not just working out, just even the fact of dealing with who we are, dealing with our relationships, dealing with all kinds of things. It's so much easier to use escape routes. It's all kinds of things, right? And we as humans, the rest of our lives, we're trying to learn to not do that, and trying to deal with self. It is such a challenge to us as humans, okay? It's such a challenge to sit down and really sit with ourselves. And I think this is what you see with men like Neo. men like Neo, who just feels like I'll just rather go have 4 girlfriends. I don't want to confront the energy of why I can't keep it, why I can't be monogamous. Hey, I just like a lot of coochie. Now, maybe that ain't that you like a lot of coochie. Maybe it is that you like a lot of coochie, but maybe it's not. Maybe there are some things that you need to deal with. Maybe there are traumas that happened in your childhood. Maybe there's a need for attention that you get from these people. Maybe it's not even sex that you like. Maybe the addiction lies somewhere else in like attention or something like that. But it is hard. It is hard to be able to see the darkness in ourselves and not only just see it, but then work to transform it. It's never easy. And so it's easier to just go choose something that's easy and feels better. Okay. So I think this is what we see with Neo. And like, is he having this conversation? Is these some little kids out here he in front of? Oh my God. Oh Lord. Well, not the corrupting the babies. Don't start with the babies. y'all it's just a mess, okay? Okay, I don't know if I want to talk about that. They're talking about the music industry, about a lot of people are thinking that the music industry, and I guess I may save that for last, about payola and stuff like that. There was another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about. I'm trying to find it here. Talked about the polygamy. Tyler Perry. Am I ready to talk about Tyler Perry? Okay. Well, let's talk about this young lady who I've been looking at the last couple of weeks. There's a new podcast of Slumflower. Okay, it's called Slumflower Hour Podcast. So she had something to say this week. This lady from this podcast.
But if you don't have the brains and the education, looks isn't that much of an advantage. Looks actually attracts more predators, but if you don't have the brains and the education to navigate predatory men, you're in danger. So I'm happy that for me, I have both looks and knowledge. So that's why I attract men who are visually attracted to me, but then when they realize that I have the knowledge to not be exploited, they disappear. That's why it's important to also nurture your knowledge as a woman. And that's why if you are a conventionally attractive woman, you have actually got way more work to do on your mental than women who are not as conventionally attractive. Because women who are not as conventionally attractive, those women who they've never really gotten like huge amounts of attention, they've had a lot of time to psychologically suss men out. Whereas when you get a lot of attention, that becomes the water that you swim in. It's the normal that you know. So you don't actually feel inclined to stop and probe this normal that you swim in. You don't stop to think, why are these men attracted to me? What do they desire about me? What does them being partnered with me say about them? And why do they want that to be said about them? Who do these men feel they're impressing by being seen with me? What does being seen with me reflect and represent? These are questions you should be asking yourself, but most women are not asking themselves these questions because they're just excited to be chosen.
I think this is interesting what she says. I see this a little bit of both. I disagree with her that sometimes women who are not so good looking have sussed out men. That's not, sometimes it's where women, I see where women who don't think they're good looking. I think there's a beauty to every woman, but they just don't know how to bring it out. But women who have found themselves that are not considered beautiful in society sometimes find themselves on the other end of desperation, of trying to get a man, of trying to do certain things. And pretty women, there can also be that pretty woman thing where pretty women sometimes are unaware of the games that men play or can use them. We see this with somebody like back in the day with Halle Berry and stuff like that. Yeah, so I agree with her in some point. You know what I learned I'm gonna tell you something. When I was very small, I was skinny. I was going through. I really. I mean, and I'm not saying this, y'all, to brag on myself or nothing like this. But I went through a phase. I mean, I had stalkers. I had people like would come to my job. Like people would knock on my door. Uh, I, it was crazy. I'm telling you, in my younger years, it was freaking. It used to scare me sometimes. I mean, people would come knock on my door. I didn't know. I'd be like, "What the fuck?" Like, people who see me walk up to my house or see me walk to this or that. I mean, it was just such a fearful thing. And I even talk about, I personally think sometime a little bit, I'm not gonna lie, I think this sometimes sent me into a little bit of a transition with weight, uh, because it was easier for me to walk down the street. Now, I still had men flirting with me and stuff, okay? But it was not his way. I would literally, if I walked down, I mean, literally, people would stop their cars. It was always scary. So I do see what she's saying. There's that, uh, that flow. If you're in that natural attention of flow or certain things like that, you tend to, that for women. For me, I had a different experience with it. What people thought and I'm not saying that I'm pretty, but I'm just saying people thought that. The experience for me at in my early years was one of uncomfortableness, because I was shy, and it was also, I wasn't as comfortable because I was dealing with the church, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. So I wasn't as comfortable with my sexuality, my sexual energy, my beauty, or what people perceived as beauty, or stuff like that. I wasn't as comfortable, and I wasn't knowledgeable about why people liked me. And I'll tell you something that happened for me with gaining weight and everything. I always feel like I had intelligence, because my grandmother promoted nothing but, you can't just be pretty, girl, you better not have some brains. You need to read and all this stuff. But I also found myself developing more of my inside person, my developing my ideology about things, my thoughts, ways to explain myself, having conversations with the opposite sex that weren't surrounded always around, oh, yeah, so can we hang out and all this stuff like that, but actually having conversations, people actually respecting me for my brain power, and not just because, oh, I think she fine, see, she got a body, she got an ass, stuff like that, all that stuff. It's just, it was, but now I'm very comfortable I'm learning to be comfortable in my full self. And yes, it's taken half my life, but I am grateful for when it's happened. As an older one, I'm more understanding of that. And it is beautiful. If as a young woman, you can get it very young, you can grab that comfortability. But she's right. I do believe that you have to, as a beautiful woman, or if you consider pretty, you have to find a way to navigate that. But you also have to, it's not enough. You have to find a way to have brains, smart, be able to hold conversations. Don't let people always navigate you into those spaces of just being pretty and not having brains. Or not being this or not being that, you know what I'm saying? So I agree, and not understanding how men operate in the world, how certain men operate, and that you won't be, like she said, preyed upon. I thought that was very powerful what she said. And so there is lessons to that. Okay, so I hope I made sense for y'all right there. Okay. Let's see. Okay, this story is just, I was going to come on earlier this week to talk to y'all about this story. And it is, I mean, I'm sure it's going to be on the ID channel one day. Y'all know how much I love the ID channel, okay? Listen, this is one of the saddest stories that I have heard. it's just sad. So let me talk to y'all about it. Romika Meeks, this is from Atlanta Black Star. Romika Meeks, and let me show y'all a picture of this beautiful lady. Here there's a picture of her. She lost her life this week, and it was senseless. So fucking stupid. Ramika Meeks wrote a loving note to her son on his first day of school. Minutes later, Chicago mother was allegedly shot and killed in a fight involving child's father. It says a Chicago mother was reportedly shot and killed during a fight with another woman shortly after dropping her son off on his first day of school. According to local news affiliates, police reported the fatal altercation took place just after 9 a.m. on Monday, September the 8th, in the 2200 block of South State Street in Chicago, South Loop. Authorities say the fight took a deadly turn when a woman pulled out a gun and shot the 31-year-old mother in the face. The victim was taken to a local hospital where she died. It is unclear at the time what triggered the fight, but authorities believe that both women knew each other and the incident is connected to a personal dispute. Authorities took the alleged shooter into custody, but have announced no charges against her. Police have yet to identify the victim and the shooter, but other reports citing numerous social media accounts identified the victim as 31-year-old Ramika Meeks, and the shooting suspect has a woman dating the father of Meeks' child. A graphic cell phone video making the rounds online shows the aftermath of the shooting, in which multiple people are present at the blood-splattered slaying scene. The footage shows a victim laying next to a white sedan. A man social media user identified as Carlos Losos Way, the reported father of Meeks' child, was also present at the scene. Way also reportedly shares a child with the suspect female shooter. Witnesses on the video are heard yelling that Way had Meeks in a headlock. That's allegedly the baby's father had the lady Meeks and one of his baby mama, the girl I just showed you, in a headlock before the other woman shot her. One woman is heard demanding that the police arrest the woman, saying that she saw her shoot the victim and place the gun in her car. The woman yells back, "I have a license to carry." On the day of the shooting, Way wrote on Facebook, "Worst day of my life," which drew numerous reactions and responses. He later deleted the post. Shortly before the fatal incident, Meeks also shared a photo of a note she wrote to her son before dropping him off at school, now being widely shared in the light of tragedy. The note reads, "Happy Monday, son. This is a fresh start to this day, and you can start off strong. Always remain yourself. You're the coolest, smartest, and funniest kid I know. I love you so much. Love, Mommy." A close friend told the victim, WG9N9, that the victim was an outstanding and devoted mother who was in school working to become a nurse.
Terrell and Tanya, still really heavy police.
Okay, here's the report.
His presence here near Cermak and State. You can see that police have taped off a portion of the area. Right now, detectives are surrounding a white sedan that appears to be connected to this incident. Chicago police saying that early this morning, around 9:30, there was a fight between two women. That scene unfolding here near State and Cermak. One of the women allegedly pulled out a gun and shot the other woman in the face. The 31-year-old victim was taken to the hospital and later died. Now, the suspect has been taken into custody, and Chicago police say this is still a very ongoing investigation. So once again, this taking place here near Cermak in State is still very active as we speak, and we'll get you more information.
She need to be under the jail. This woman was taking her kid to school. This person came up to a school. She's dangerous. She came to a school where there were kids. Her kid was there. And shot this woman at a school. She didn't give a fuck about what was going on around her. That she was in front of a school. Trying to see if I can find any more articles. This was a front. She should be arrested. I know they better have arrested her. And probably the baby daddy if he was holding her in a headlock. Says, okay, hold on. Let me see. She asking people to stop showing the sister is saying please stop showing her laying on the ground and all this stuff. Listen, let me just say this. This is horrible. I remember I used to joke and say I was going to do a ID channel show one day to say dick can make you kill somebody. And tell stories about women who kill people over penis, because this is a real problem out here. Obviously, she is crazy. Why would you shoot another? What does she think gonna happen if this man doesn't go to jail himself? Because if it's true that he was holding a woman in a headlock while she walked up and shot her, he might be facing some time himself. But if he's not going to be facing as much time as you, dumb. And guess what happens when he gets out? You think he's going to be visiting the jail to po with you? Now, you know what he's probably going to do? He's going to take your child, probably raise your child with another fucking woman. Yet you take your dumb ass to a school where there was young kids. They need to, y'all, have they put this woman in this woman she should be in jail. Did they arrest her? They charge her yet? Because she endangered children. She should be charged. I don't see what the Chicago police, what you talking about? You can't charge her yet. Let's see. Let's see. This is here's another article about it. It says someone has to pay for this. Mother of woman fatally shot in South Loop speaks out. The mother of a woman shot and killed in the South Loop is speaking out publicly for the first time about her death. According to Chicago police, the person taken into custody after Monday's fatal shooting of Ramika Meeks Blackman, 31, has been released without charges. She was up at a school. What is wrong with what y'all doing in Chicago? Y'all had all the smoke for Jesse Smollett and his little old lie. And here's a woman that's in front of a grade school. Hold on, let me get this straight. In front of a grade school with kids all out there fighting over some man, walks up and shoots this woman in the face with multiple witnesses seeing, and y'all ain't fucking arrested her? What the fuck is going on in Chicago? According to Chicago police, the person taken into custody, his family, what in the world? Hold on, y'all. Let's see here. It says her family is eagerly seeking justice. Someone has to pay for this. It's not right, said her mother, Tina McMiller. Surrounded by family and overwhelmed with grief, McMiller says she's heartbroken after losing her daughter to gun violence. What in the world? Okay. It says Meeks Blackman had just dropped off her son at school near Sunrick Road and State Street when the police said the victim was involved in a physical altercation with another person. The offender then took out a gun and fired it, striking Meeks Blackman in the face. Now, there were witnesses. People say there were witnesses. Okay? She rushed to Struger Hospital where she was pronounced dead. Meeks Blackman was in school to become a nurse. Her mother said she was an outstanding mother, daughter, and friend. Ramika was my baby. Ramika was kind, sweet, loving, very supportive, and an amazing mother. She loved her son. She loved me. She loved her siblings, and I loved her the same, said McMiller. McMiller says she is now raising her grandson, Meeks Blackman, 6-year-old son. Okay, they had a balloon release. Why aren't y'all arresting this woman? Okay, here is the press conference. I'm not quite sure what's going on, why they ain't arresting this woman who went up and shot this lady. This and witnesses was out there seeing it in front of a gay school. She endangered children, everything else if she was in front of a gay school. What is going on here?
out for the first time about her daughter's death.
WGN's Jewel Hillary spoke with her, and she is in the South Loop now with more.
According to CPD, the person taken into custody for allegedly fatally shooting 31-year-old Romika Meeks Blackman is released without charges. In the midst of her unbearable pain, Romika's mom says she's eagerly seeking justice.
I want justice. She didn't deserve it under no circumstances.
Gripped with grief, Tina McMiller's loved ones embraced her tightly as they gathered across the street from the intersection of Cermak Road near State Street, where her 31-year-old daughter, Romika Meeks Blackman, was fatally shot Monday morning after dropping her son off at school.
We want justice.
Described as kind, sweet, loving, very supportive, and an amazing mom, Romika was working and studying to become a nurse. Right before her death, police say a fight broke out. The suspect, who sources say Romika knew, allegedly pulled out a gun and shot Romika in the face, killing her, according to CPD.
My baby was dropping her baby out to school. And what hurt the most is I didn't get my morning phone call.
Police say since Monday's arrest, the offender has been released without charges. They wouldn't share further details other than saying they can't comment on specifics of ongoing investigations.
The family is unaware of what the police are doing, so we can't answer those questions. What we would like is that justice come in the form of accountability.
As the family seeks justice, community organizers are putting pressure on lawmakers to ensure laws meant to help curb violence are effective. They're also challenging them to do more.
The state of Illinois, we're calling on them to open an office of civility. Civility has steps to be able to deal with the issue of violence.
Through her heartache, Tina is seeking strength to raise her 6-year-old grandson.
That's a hard man shoes to fill with the connection that was between him and his mama.
A balloon release ceremony in honor of Romika is scheduled for tonight at 7 at 68th.
Oh, my Lord.
Reporting on the near south side, I'm Jewel Hillary.
Ladies, it is never worth it to, I don't know why this woman is still on the street. She's dangerous, it sounds like to me. She went up in front of a school. What is it that she could have possibly, there were witnesses out there who've seen her. They were yelling on the video. People, it was multiple people yelling, saying she shot her. The gun is in the car and all this stuff. I'm not quite sure why this woman hasn't been arrested. What is this? What is going on here? Wow. Oh my Lord. This is I feel so sorry for the family. It is not worth it to be fighting with nobody's baby mom. It ain't no work. Why y'all out here fighting in front of the school? Now this child ain't got no mama. Oh my God. Only 31 years old. Ladies, don't be stupid. You know what? It is never worth it. What is it? Like, listen, that man, when she go to jail, that man gonna be out here with somebody else. I'm just letting her know if he ain't out here with somebody else already. Okay. That man is gonna be with somebody else. You done shot what you thought was your competition, but this man gonna be out here in these streets. Think, ladies, think. Wow. Just crazy, okay? And I can't imagine hearing too much of anything that's gonna make me make me think differently about this. Is just a sad story. And it's crazy. I tell y'all, it's a crazy week, okay? When I heard that, I was just like, wow, I felt so sorry for that family, okay? Tyler Perry's assault person has been speaking out. Okay. I don't know. You know what, you guys, I'm not going to share that one tonight. I don't really got time. It is what it is. Whatever going on with Tyler is going on. I don't know. I don't know if I believe the guy all the way. I believe some of it. I don't know if I believe him all the way. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of. I'm not sure. Okay. Okay. Let me see what else we were supposed to talk about. Make sure I got all y'all stories, cause child, y'all know. Okay, Jalen Green and Drea Michelle. The little Drea, Drea going with the little young boy, 22-year-old. They had a little spat last night. Okay, y'all showing it. Okay, so apparently he was yelling, "I hate you" to Drea and getting into a heated confrontation. This is from the Shade Room. After a New York Fashion Week party, the two attended Mert and Marcus on 71 gin party held at the Manor in New York. I guess they had a fight afterwards. He's very young. Let me tell you something. A 23-year-old, you're going to have them type of fights with, okay? You 22, Drea, now you too old for that. I ain't arguing with nobody's child. I'm 40-some years old. I ain't sitting up here arguing with you little 20-some-year-old ass. That's crazy. And you can see her coming after her, like coming to Drea. See, this is a girl. I'm not fighting. I done got to, there's some stuff you just get to, like, your age, you just like, we gonna do this. We're not gonna do this. What Beyonce on here doing? Is Beyonce advertising? What she? Oh, that's her talking about, thank you for so much birthday love. I'm thankful for another year. Oh, she actually said thank y'all to y'all. She speaks. she got a little birthday suit on. She's showing y'all. Okay. Anyway. Don't nobody say when Beyonce be showing her ass. Beyonce show her ass.
Be right back.
Okay, we're gonna talk about Whoopi Goldberg saying she can't retire from the View right now. Okay, afford to retire from the View. First of all, let me finish talking about Drea. Drea is too young. Ladies, you can't be sitting out here. Ain't no argument. I ain't had no. Listen, I'm at this age, I ain't got time to be arguing with your ass. I'm not gonna argue. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and she's talking about dating this man. And she's talking about he in his late 40s, and she said he is a motherfucking child. And she's like, I gotta argue. She said, girl, I'm too old for that. I ain't got time. I said, yeah, because when you reach a certain age, ain't nobody sitting out here having no childish out of, and they not, they got to open the relationship because they really they trying to get back to seeing each other, but they not serious yet or whatever. And she said he want to be running around and he want her to be arguing with him. She like, are you crazy? Like, I'm in my 20s and your ass damn near half a century and you want me out here arguing? Nobody's doing that. Just crazy, okay? Drea, you should not be out there with this little mate. Let this boy go argue with some little girls, okay? Shit. That's when you in two different spaces, okay? All right, so Whoopi Goldberg is saying that she cannot afford to retire from the View, okay? This is from World Star. According to reports, Whoopi Goldberg, co-host of View for 18 seasons, says she has no plans to retire, citing financial reasons. I can't afford to retire, Goldberg said. If you don't marry well, you got to keep working. Wow. Whoopi been on there a long ass time. Whoopi, how much are they paying Whoopi on the View that Whoopi can't go and retire? Oh my God. Sorry, because somebody said she gets $8 million a year to sit, drink, coffee, and talk. All that gets me is late to work. Somebody said it's okay. Why does it have to be if you don't marry good? Why can't it be if you don't make good financial decisions? What are you doing? $8 million a year? That's a lot of fucking money. What you mean you can't retire? Maybe it's because you live in New York. Why can't she retire getting $8 million a year? Ooh, what's she doing? Whoopi. Now, granted, y'all should be paying Whoopi now. Whoopi should be up in the 10 to 15 million because Whoopi's the show, okay? Listen, $8 million a year? Whoopi just wants some more money. Whoopi said this is an easy, what Whoopi really trying to say to y'all is this is an easy job. This is an easy job. Okay.
President Trump this morning on Fox and Friends said that you were happy about this.
Okay. This is an easy job, and you know, I'm gonna sit up here and make my $8 million. Okay, I'm gonna make my money. I can't make mad at Whoopi. I am not mad at Whoopi. Whoopi ain't. It's not because Whoopi can't retire. Whoopi saying, "Listen, I need my coin." Okay, Whoopi gonna sit. She gonna keep making that money. I ain't mad at you, Whoopi. I understand the whole point of Whoopi staying in the game. Okay, that's an easy $8 million. Okay, nobody's going nowhere with that when that money's that easy to make. Okay, she is not gonna do it. All right, I get it. I don't think it's because she's going broke though, or she can't afford to retire. She might be. I think Whoopi playing games and playing with y'all. Okay. All right. So what else is it, y'all? Do we have to talk about? I don't know. I think that's it. We've already talked about the Miguel thing, the thing. All that. Here's what I'll leave you women with, because there's a lot of shows today about men and knowing. I've been having a lot of shows on lately about relationships and knowing your worth. You have got to know your worth. You've got to know who you are. You have got to be very do the work on yourself too. And listen, when you find someone, there's a lot of times in these relationships out here, like girls, ladies, and stuff like that, even in marriages and relationships, where you find people that just don't, it's hard, that don't want to do the work. You still have to be able to do the work, because you got to know where you are in your life. You got to know who you are. And sometimes that the work that God is requiring you to do, sometimes it doesn't feel easy at the time. Discipline is not sometimes easy, or certain things to change in your life is not sometimes easy, but trust me, and it won't be always easy, okay? But trust me, just beginning to do the work, beginning to take yourself seriously and decide not to let yourself down and to love on yourself is going to be a powerful pathway for you. Trust me on this, okay? It's going to be a powerful pathway for many of you, okay? Going forward, men and women, all right? So don't let yourself down today. Love on yourself, forgive yourself, and do the work. You'll be so glad that you did in the end, okay? You guys, have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Oh my God, can y'all see how fast we're going through September? It's so fast and so fast. I'm so excited. I'm like, I was getting ready for my trip, to Vegas. I'm going to Vegas for Maxwell's last serenade tour. And I'm like, it's a show, it's nice, last serenade show. I was thinking about going to Brooklyn for the, part of me kind of still like wants to go, but I wanted to go to the Brooklyn show. I thought about it for to see him do the silent serenade tour, but because I'm doing a cruise, I'm like, but I don't know. Maxwell, you should do silent. Can you do silent serenade on the cruise? Can you give us a piece of it at the Vegas show? Can't nobody be coming to all this. All right, you get you a quick ticket to go see it. I'm not doing it. At this point, when I do my next meet and greet with Maxwell, I'm gonna be like, just call me Sugar Mama, okay? At this point, I'm your Sugar Mama. I'll talk told some of the Maxwell girls, I said, we all should just have to call it the Sugar Mama tribe. Y'all should have a Sugar Mama group. We should have our little shirts on at the next show to say Sugar Mama. Sugar Mama 1, Sugar Mama 2. Like they had the Breezy Bowl. I'm going to have a Sugar Mama Bowl for Maxwell. Sugar Mama. Okay, yes, I'm getting ready for my little Vegas trip. And I am like, I'm so ready for it. But at the same time, I'm okay. I've been trying to enjoy the now, okay? But yeah, I'm getting ready. I'm like, but I'm hoping we get a piece of the silence here and they just like a little drop or something of it. Or something like that, okay? I mean, oh my gosh, you guys are in for a treat in DC. Was it DC and Brooklyn? That's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be really fun. Yeah, your girl is like sugar mama out, okay? But you guys, thank you for hanging out with me. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. Enjoy your week. I am out and I will see you. I don't know when, y'all, next time. Because listen, I'm telling you, this I'm trying to do this schoolwork. Hey, I'm at this point where I'm kind of, I'm like, hey, I'm pushing through. I'm pushing it through. So when I give y'all these shows, listen, y'all, it's an effort, it's a labor of love. It is a labor of love when I hand you the show. Okay, it is, and I hope you guys appreciate it. All right. That's it. I don't know. Is there anything else I have to say to you guys? What else? Oh, did I say? Okay, yeah. Somebody asked me when the new website. Okay, let me tell you, I'm slow. The new website should have been up. I'm so slow. Okay, I'm doing my schoolwork. As a matter of fact, when I get off here, I'm doing schoolwork. I'm not gonna even go to sleep yet. I'm gonna do schoolwork. But you guys, it's gonna be up soon. I think I think everything is fixed up. I just haven't finished it because I got so many other things going on. Please be patient. That's why I'm really taking my time with it. I'm really being slow with it and everything. Okay. I'm hoping to give you guys more access to me a little bit, in terms of like, especially when I go to Vegas or when I do my little Maxwell stuff, you guys, I can show you some of the stuff or whatever. You guys can see why I'm so my whole fascination with Maxwell or whatever. So you guys could probably, I really wanted to share with you guys that cruise experience, really. So yeah, so I'm going to try to I'll try to have it up and going before then. Okay. So everything going, and I will have the pages changed over. Okay, so here's how we're going to do the page. I don't know if I'm going to change this one or not, but we'll work it out. But I am going to change a lot of the other stuff. Okay. And I got so much. Listen, y'all just be patient. I got so much going on right now. I got great offers from just recently, and I was in shock by this. So I had to share with y'all another time. Oh, and I forgot to share with y'all this. I had my mammogram a couple of weeks ago. It was a week and a half ago, and your girl is breast cancer free, baby. A 2-year breast cancer survivor. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Okay. And I was like, they came in and told me, I was like, yes. They were happy. I was happy. Everybody happy. All right. Listen, I cannot stress you because we're coming into next month will be Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I cannot stress to you guys enough the importance of mammograms. I'm going to be stressing it to you when it comes up in the next month or something. I'm going to be telling my story over and over again because it saved my life going to get my mammogram. And listen, and it saves your life to be vigilant and do your own breast exams, because one of the ways I found out was my breast bled one time. It only bled one time. One time. I had a little blood come out at one time. And so when I went to do the mammogram, I was able to tell her and everything like that. And here's the kicker. A year or so before that, I had they thought they seen something. And I remember I was way down the hall for the results then, and I was very scared. And they were like, oh no, we're going to watch it. We just see some little something there. But you know what I thought? Let me tell you why it's important to be vigilant about your health care, about your health, because sometimes doctors and people miss stuff and all kinds of stuff. So, always be, diligent about getting those mammograms and everything. I think I was in stage 0 at that time of breast cancer. I think they did see something. We were like, well, we're going to have you come back and we're going to check you in another, 6 or 7 months. And that's when I had this, it was actually another year. And I was at stage 1. And so I believe they had seen it early. They saw something and they just couldn't. But the reason why they didn't see it, because it was hidden under tissue. And if I hadn't bled, look at God, let me tell you something, okay? If I hadn't bled, if I hadn't been doing my own breast exams, because, doing my own little breast, checking my boob out and everything like that, they may have said they didn't see it again. So y'all, I cannot stress for you to be dealing with, you feeling something, check your boobs, check your own boobs and all this stuff, but always just when you feel something's not right with your body, with your things, I've been so much more diligent with my health, trying to be diligent with my health care and everything. I just went, I even go to my dermatologist on the regular. I just had my dermatologist skin exam, my skin exam. My friend said, what? You go to what? I said, girl, I do it all. Listen, I am like, I'm like, I have her, remove, like if, I have mold, because, you get older, I have moles and stuff like, stuff like, but this time I had like a mole somewhere and she was like, oh my God, I'm a biopsy this. I said, oh, don't say that word. You're scaring the shit out of me. But she says nothing probably, but I just want to make sure. But I always have myself checked, my skin and everything, because you're getting older. And so I'm like, you never know. So to be very diligent about your health. And then I spent so many years not taking care of myself. Okay. So you guys, it is so important. I can't express to you enough about mammograms, taking care of your health. Even recently, I had something happen when I went to the doctor and I was like, oh my God. And she was like, I have to share with y'all about this journey. I'm not going to share with y'all right now. I'm going to share with y'all later. Okay. And I was like, okay, I had to really change up some things. Okay. And I had to go a route that I didn't want to go. Okay. But I will talk to y'all about that. I'm not going to do it right now. I'm going to share it with you guys when I go through this process, this journey, because I think it's important for people. And I think it's going to help a lot of people out there. This journey I went through, that I'm going through right now, I think it's going to help people. It's not bad. Okay. It's not bad. It's actually helping me. Okay. But, I would talk about that at some other time, but I can't explain getting yourself together. Getting yourself together is of the utmost importance. I can't, just take care of yourself. Okay. All right, you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. Have a good Sunday. And what's this? I said what I said about Charlie Kirk. Don't write me, don't at me, don't talk about me, whatever. Okay. I'm not mad. I'm not angry about I'm not what I'm saying to y'all is I'm not a person that's angry with Charlie Kirk or whatever. I understood what Charlie Kirk was. Okay. And I don't believe anybody should be shot for their beliefs. And he was also in the middle of trying to evolve on his stance about Israel and all this stuff. I would have hoped in life he would have evolved on his stance about Black people. Okay. Because a lot of stuff Charlie would be saying was wrong. Okay. I said that. Okay. But it's very sad what happened. And please don't be blaming Black people out there, because we can clearly see this was white on white crime. This happened in the middle of Utah, and these thugs out here, these young white thugs who be shooting up schools and stuff like that. We got to get something. We got to do something about it. Okay. These kids, this is the kid. This kid was from a law enforcement home. That's what they're saying. Law enforcement, 2 Republican parents, a really nice house. Don't be looking at Black people. Okay, Black people ain't got nothing to do with it. We ain't got nothing to do with what happened to Charlie Kirk. Okay, so it's sad. And here's the sad thing. Let me just say this. Okay, I hope y'all have major discussions about this, because he was in the middle of asking the guy asked him about a mass shooting. And he was getting ready to go into gang violence. And when I tell y'all about the existence of the black gang right now, if y'all have ever even listened to Joe Rogan's show and hear the gang expert, the black gang is around, but not like it used to be. Black gangs have been really off by the cartels and all this stuff. But this man was sitting here about to talk about the black gang, and he gets shot by somebody. It wasn't gang violence. It wasn't nothing. Now, I am for the Second Amendment. I wish more women would practice the Second Amendment to protect themselves in America, okay? Because women are always a target. Unfortunately, this last Ramika story, that's a different story. I don't know if this one was protected. This woman seemed like she was just violent, but I'm talking about women protecting themselves against crazy people, men, all kinds of things, unstable men, all kinds of things like that. But I do believe in the Second Amendment. Charlie Kirk was a Second Amendment believer, okay? Yeah, but the violence that he often talked about was only black crimes, and for him, it wasn't it wasn't how he got affected. What affected him was the things that I just say the death of Charlie Kirk hopefully help America have conversations with each other, and they will think we will learn to think differently about other people's opinions, respecting their opinions, but also understanding when a person is wrong and they're a provocateur. Do I like the way that the news media is treating Charlie Kirk right now? To avoid the things he said about black people is crazy to me, but it's America. It's crazy. Now, if this was Farrakhan or somebody like that, of course they would be like, he's a reverse racism. I just can't. I'm not. I'm gonna leave it at that, because y'all don't add me, don't write me, don't do nothing. Okay, that's what I'm telling you. I said what I said, and I said prayers though to his family. Like I said, I believe in humans having the right to live and be able to evolve or eat or stay the same. Okay, but whatever I believe in them being able to live out their journeys, even if I disagree with them. Okay. So, on that note, we're out. Okay. Remember, you hit me up on the Carlotta Chat with Facebook page. You can still DM me through the Facebook page. I'll still answer you back. You can also hit me up at C Chatwood Show. C Chatwood Show and Carlotta 72 on X. You can also hit me up on Instagram at Carly's_Galaxy. And there's a thread link on there. And then also you can hit me up on TikTok, Keisha Carlotta, okay? And listen, let me just say this one thing I'm going to say, okay? Because I had this happen 3 times last week. I don't know what the hell's going on. But listen, okay. Just because I talk about, why y'all sending me, why do Maxwell fake accounts keep hitting me up? Quit hitting me up, Maxwell fake accounts, okay? I'm kind of crazy. I'll talk back to you. I'll be like, what's going on? Are you okay? Pretending to be Maxwell? How you doing? Are you lost? Please stop hitting me up with this fake account. I don't know what's going on with people. Why all of a sudden I'm getting hit up? I'm like, why am I getting hit up so much? I'm like, shit, I just said... I'm getting hit up. Okay, I even got hit up by a fake Lenny Kravitz account. I was like, what? This is crazy. Give me, please. Okay, because I'm starting to think y'all lonely. and I'll talk to the lonely and help you out. One person blocked me one time. They was pretending to be somebody. They blocked me. They tired of me. They was like, she's a nut. Okay, my friend be like, you so silly. You ain't got nothing to do. All right, you guys, I'm out. You have a good one. Y'all, let me leave y'all with this little electric music, okay? Enjoy your week. God bless, okay?